What if the most brilliant mind of his age spent long nights not only measuring light, but heating secret powders and listening to metals for answers? I am Arthur, and today we step inside Isaac Newton's private world, a realm of prisms and furnaces, lenses and locked notebooks, where forbidden experiments reshaped how we understand reality. On one table, Newton splits a beam with glass and turns darkness into knowledge. On another, he grinds minerals, notes sharp fumes, and tests guarded recipes. He is hunting the rules beneath everything. Most people know the tidy story. A scholar studies light, writes about motion, and leaves equations that guide ships and machines. But Newton also pursued hidden questions that polite society called unwise. He wanted to learn what matter is, what force binds it, and whether nature keeps her deepest doors locked or merely asks for the right key. Consider the light itself. He passed a beam through a narrow opening and discovered a band of colors inside. Then he stitched the rainbow back into white. Why does this matter? Because it proved that appearances can lie and that truth often lives in pieces. This insight followed him into the rooms he kept quiet. Now the furnace glows. Newton drops a grain of metal into a crucible, adds a bright mineral, and waits. He watches color, smell, and residue. He writes notes in code. Why such caution? Because alchemy attracts trouble. Some called it folly. Others called it dangerous. Newton saw a laboratory where hidden forces might be coaxed into view. He mapped those forces by touching them. With a curved blade, he gently pressed the side of his eye to feel how sight responds to pressure. Strange, bold, risky. Yet this was not recklessness. It was a disciplined mind asking how vision works from the inside. There is more. Newton mixed salts and metals, watched vapors grow mirrors on cold glass, and weighed ash to learn that something had entered from the air. He asked whether small bodies pull on each other in the furnace, as planets pull in the sky. What did all this secrecy protect? Not a wish to impress friends, but a fear of careless readers. Some recipes could poison or explode. Half-trained imitators might chase wonders and ignore rules. So he guarded his notes, wrote in a private shorthand, and shared results with only a trusted few. Yet ideas refused to stay quiet. From this hidden work grew a new way to ask questions. Do not guess about matter. Change it and listen. Heat, dissolve, distill, and measure. If a color fades, ask what left. If a metal gains weight, ask what arrived. If a light splits, ask what travels inside it. This method demands patience, clean tools, and the courage to be wrong. Why would a man who could have lived on praise choose secrecy and risk? Because he wanted first-hand truth. He trusted experiments more than custom. He preferred a long night with a furnace to a short conversation at a feast. That choice freed him to follow results wherever they led. Newton did not see a wall between what we call science and what earlier ages called natural philosophy. He collected old texts and sifted them for clues. If a proverb hinted at a process, he tried it. If a tale whispered about a metal that heals another, he tested it. He looked for lore inside legend. Imagine him at dawn, notes smudged with soot, a prism on the sill, a crucible cooling. He has not solved the universe. He has something better. He has a method. It says that nature answers gentle pressure with truth. Ask a clear question. Change one thing. Record what happens. Repeat until the pattern speaks. We will go deeper in a moment, because the most surprising result of Newton's forbidden experiments is not a single discovery, but a habit of mind. It is the courage to take mystery seriously, and the patience to turn it into clarity. It is the belief that even the darkest lab becomes a window if you learn how to look. The truth behind these experiments might surprise you, because they taught him something that would soon reach far beyond that small, locked room. He did not merely heat metals. He reshaped light and changed how minds work. In a shadowed stone chamber, he sent a narrow beam through a precisely cut aperture and split it with glass. Red fell one way and blue another. Then he recombined the pieces and showed that white light is not simple. This taught him to trust the test over tradition. That habit guided his hands when the lamps were low. Another habit drove him. He documented everything. If a crystal hissed in acid, he wrote the sound as a word. If fumes silvered a flask, he wrote the shade and counted breaths between reflections. He believed nature whispers prior to speaking. A small whisper today can become the rule tomorrow. His notes are compact yet often read like intricate coded riddles. He guarded meaning so skill could mature before rumor could run. You may wonder if his quiet work was only a private pastime. The reality behind this story is more extraordinary. His clandestine sessions taught him that matter changes because relationships shift. Heat invites union or pulls it apart. Air joins a reaction and imparts weight where weight was not expected. Color marks a path where motion is too subtle to see. These clues shaped how he thought about pull between bodies in the sky. He searched for a single cause that could explain many faces. At times he tested ideas with his own body. He pressed a dull instrument along the side of his eye and watched arcs bloom across his view. He wanted to feel the border between sensation and the physical world. To him, courage meant careful steps in the dark while the notebook stayed open. He hunted order in writings many called ancient or esoteric. If a claim survived the flame, it earned a line in his book. If it failed, he marked it and moved on. In this way, legend paid for its place or lost it. He did not bow to the past. He questioned it until it became useful. There is a scene that explains his mind. Imagine a bench with scattered powders and a small furnace cooling. A student asks how long until the secret is found. He smiles and says, "The secret is a path made of many facts. Miss one and your foot will slip. Place them well, and the path carries you farther than pride ever could." He is not guarding a treasure. He is building a road that others can walk safely. His locked papers show a sense of responsibility. He feared what a careless reader might do with a partial recipe. He feared that a bold claim shouted too early would freeze into dogma. So he chose a slower victory. He refined a result until it could stand without the glow of his name. He wrote as an artisan who plans for the next pair of hands. This restraint kept quarrels quiet and allowed the method to spread where argument would stall it. Those secret hours became a school for a wider vision. When he turned from the bench to the sky, he brought the same tools of mind. Ask a clear question, patiently. Break the problem into parts. Remove pride. Keep only what returns under many trials. That is why his grand ideas feel sturdy. They were built from small proofs carried across many evenings. What should we take from his forbidden experiments today? First, that curiosity is a discipline. Wonder without method fades. Wonder with patient experiments becomes knowledge. Second, that secrecy can be a kind of care when the wider world is not ready for half-truths. Third, that the border between science and older craftwork is thinner than many assume. He stood on that border and learned to take what works and leave the rest. The most lasting product of those nights was not a single theorem. It was a disciplined model of enduring, sustained attention. It says that nature rewards precise questions and clean, careful hands. It says that big answers grow from small, honest trials. It says that a mind can move from prism to furnace to stars without changing who it is. That is why his quiet rooms still resonate. They teach us to keep looking until the pattern speaks, and then to keep looking again.